This is the A40 in Germany. This takes me out eventually, changes to National Road up here, and then changes back into motorway, the A44, takes me out to Castle. This is actually the way I came on my very first ever trip abroad ever. In fact, the first time I left the country in a truck was the first time I'd ever left the country. Never been out of the country until I came out here in one of these. And I came this way. My first drop was in Paderborn. I wouldn't come this way to Paderborn now, but it was a long time ago. So this is the way I came. Yeah, I came out on a Saturday. Left the yard on Saturday morning. We run down, caught the train. Got off the train, parked in Calais, because you could park in Calais then. Well, I suppose you can park in Calais now, but I parked on an industrial estate that isn't actually there anymore in Calais. I had Sunday off, left there early hours Monday morning and came up here to Paderborn. What did I do? I tipped, got into this now, haven't I tipped Paderborn, Erfurt, Gutslaw, Paderborn, Hereford and Gutslaw, which are all right near each other. And then they run me back to Rotterdam to Lord, and I came back on P&O ferries Calais Dover and tipped Worcester. And I remember thinking when I got off the boat in Dover, I hated it, absolutely hated every single second of being over here on that trip. And I got off the boat in Dover and swore, absolutely swore to myself that I would never, ever come over here, ever again. Ever. And I run over to Worcester and tipped at Worcester. And I rung him. And his first question was, how did it go? What did you think? And I was like, oh, it was alright. He said, so you want to go again? So I did it. It was one of those out of body experiences where I heard myself saying yes and wondered why I had. And we went back up to the yard, changed trailers, went straight back out. I do like it along here. Obviously, I've had better runs across here because of traffic, etc. But it's that time of day. Yeah, heading east for a good while. If you watch these videos, you're going to see a lot of Germany. This is the B1, this is just a continuation of the A40 that I was on earlier through Dortmund. What I found really strange as well, on that first trip, I came through this way, was the yellow signs. Because to us in the UK, yellow signs mean roadworks. But in Germany, yellow signs are just normal, unless you're on the motorway and they're blue. You're not on the motorway, they're yellow. I can't tell you how much I hated it the first time I came over. I'd wanted to do it for years. I'd wanted to come over here in a truck. I don't know, since I was 10, 11 years old. I'd become obsessed with it. My dad used to work for a firm in Walkden in Manchester called Mitchell Freight Services. Well, called Mitchell Fox Services when he started there. Then it became Mitchell Freight Services. Then it became Mitchell Freight Contracts. You know, times were hard and cash flow was not the best. They were into all sorts, and one of the things they were into was they had a warehouse and they did packaging for Ingersoll Rand. Ingersoll Rand used to have a couple of big plants, one in Horwich and one up at Hindley Green. They made compressors at both those plants. And we used to go up, pick them up, bring them back, and then they pack those into wooden packing crates and ship them off all over the Middle East. So they didn't do it. They didn't do any European work at all. But they used to have people coming in all the time to load these packing cases and take them off to all these far-flung destinations, and it just captured my imagination, and I really, really wanted to do it. Things like reading long distance diary in Trucking International as well when I was a kid. All these weird places. Yeah. So my dad never did any European work. Be honest about it, he didn't have the bottle. I think he wanted to, he just couldn't bring himself to do it. I think he'd listened to too many stories personally now, looking back. Too many horror stories, 99% of which aren't true, but that was up to him. Anyway, moving on. This B1 runs us out onto the A44 for Castle. Again, the A44 is just a continuation of this. The 40, the 1, the 44 is essentially all one road. I will, as I go on as well, start to do videos more in the style that I was doing them in originally. Interacting with the camera more was how it was phrased to me the other day. And yeah, we'll start doing it. Hour and 40 minutes left. Well, more than that. Well, 4 hours left. But I need a 30-minute break. And it's now 7 o'clock at night. So I ain't stopping for a 30-minute break at 7 o'clock at night and then carrying on. There's just no point. So I always run that time out. Run the hour and 40 minutes out. And that's plenty anyway. I'm in front of myself anyway. It's only Monday. So it's now the following day. This service is on the right here, Eisenach, is where we transition from what would have been East Germany back into the West. This is one of the best motorways in Germany, this A4. This stretch, well, Bad Hersfeld to Dresden, but not really the Bad Hersfeld end, because that's rubbish, but yeah, miles and miles of this is 3 lanes, overtaking, really quiet, just, yeah, it's really good. It goes actually from one of the best stretches of road in Germany to one of the worst stretches of motorway anyway. I'm going to come off down here. You're not really supposed to cut across to Castle, which misses out the corner where the A4 meets the A7 at Bad Hersfeld, and then that A7 up to Castle. It's awful. It goes overtaking to no overtaking, and massive hills, real killer hills, where people are doing like 20 kilometers an hour up them, and there's no overtaking up them, and then you get over the hill and you're allowed to overtake, so everybody starts going for it, and then you have to all get back in again because you can't overtake again. Oh, it's awful. How there are, I mean, there are accidents up there with trucks running in the back of each other. How there isn't one every single day, I don't know. But I'm going to avoid all that. I'm going to come off, cut across, come back on. And Castle's, the motorway around Castle is all shut as well. So if you come up from the bottom side, you can't come off and get on the A44. Yeah, it's hard work. Although there is a way around that as well that you're not supposed to do. Well, there is a way, there's an official way around it, which is a pain, and then there's an unofficial way around it, which is actually alright. But there is a weight limit. This is the more familiar Germany. Endless roadworks, queuing traffic. So I wasn't able to come off and cut across to Castle and miss out Bad Hersfeld because they'd shut the slip road to resurface it. So I am approaching Bad Hersfeld. I got stuck in the snow here just before Christmas. Just a bit further back from here. It started snowing at Eisenach, and it just got worse and worse and worse, and everybody's driving slower and slower. So eventually we just stopped. And we sat there and sat there and sat there. We ended up being there 9 hours. And then the snowplows had come through. It was a 2-lane section. Snowplows had come through and cleared lane 2. And then the police came along at 1 o'clock in the morning, telling everybody they wanted them to go, that the motorway was clear. So everybody else was fairly reluctant to leave, but I left, I went. We had 9 hours off. and got up here, and they hadn't cleared the motorway at all. Ended up being stuck up here for another 2 or 3 hours. Because further on from here, some really, really steep hills. And I just thought, there's no way I'm going to get up these hills. Unless they're completely cleared and gritted, there's no way I'm going to get up these hills. So I ended up stopping again on the hard shoulder, and everybody was stopping on the hard shoulder. It was another 2 or 3 hours before snowplows came through and cleared it all again. And we've got to go in then. So, yeah, this is just totally normal, this, for Germany. But this means now that I'm on the wrong side of Castle to get on the A44 later on. Like I say, there is a way around it. There's an official way around it, and then there's an unofficial way around it. To be fair, there's an unofficial way around this as well that I'm sitting in. It gets going here, but according to Google, it's queuing again up at the split up the road, the A7 split. So there's roadworks there, they've got all that dug up. So, could come off at this next junction and go through Bad Hersfeld. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide for yourselves the option I chose. And we'll leave it there. British phone box on corner here. See loads of them in Germany. Oh, well, maybe not loads, but you see more in Germany than you see. You certainly see more in Germany than you see in the UK these days. Turn left at these lights, we're aware then. So you can't get off the A44. Sorry, you can't get off onto the A44 at Castle. You've got to go around the top of Castle, as I mentioned earlier. And also, as I mentioned earlier, there is an unofficial where you can go to avoid the ridiculously long diversion. And again, I'm going to leave it up to you to decide which way I've chosen to go. So the choice is yours. There you go. On the motorway I want to be on, without incident. It saved quite a lot of time. Easy as that. Sort of back where I started here, really. Back where I started the video. I hope at least some of you found this interesting. I think this is going to be my thing as well. I'm not going to do full trip videos, like from start to finish. I think that this is the thing, this. Maybe I will do some full start to finish ones. I can't say that I won't. Depends what the trip is, I suppose. But I like these, like halfway through to halfway through, if that makes sense. do read all the comments as well. I read every single comment anybody writes, and if there are replies to comments, I read them as well, just to weed out the idiots. But yeah, I'm not very good at replying, I've got to be honest, but everything gets read. Yeah, we'll crack on up here. Back on tonight's boat.